Ladies and gentlemen, there's a moment in life when you realize that not everyone is rooting for you. Some smiles hide envy, and some words conceal daggers. As we step into 2025, let me tell you this: your silence can be your greatest shield, and your discernment can be your sharpest sword. Let's talk about 7 things you should never share with anyone this year. When you share your dreams too soon, you invite opinions, doubts, and distractions. Keep your plans close to your chest. Work quietly and let your results do the talking. Money has a way of making people act strangely. Whether you're climbing out of a hole or sitting on a fortune, keep your finances private. The world doesn't need to know. They say move in silence and execute loudly. Let them see the action, not the blueprint. Keep the element of surprise on your side. Every family has its battles, but not every battle needs an audience. Protect the sanctity of your home by keeping its struggles private. People are quick to exploit vulnerabilities. If you're facing fears or flaws, face them in private or share them with someone who's earned your trust. Love thrives in privacy. Don't let the outside world meddle in your union. Guard your relationship like the precious bond it is. If you're helping others, do it quietly. True giving doesn't need applause. The impact you create is your reward. 2025 is your year to rise, but you must rise wisely. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your journey. Remember, this silence is not weakness, it's strategy. Privacy is not isolation, it's empowerment. So step forward boldly, but speak cautiously. Keep these 7 things close and watch how your life transforms. In a world where oversharing has become the norm, there is an unparalleled strength in keeping certain aspects of your life private. Privacy isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. It's a fortress that safeguards your dreams, ambitions, and vulnerabilities from the probing eyes of the world. When you hold your cards close to your chest, you maintain a level of control that others can't penetrate. The less people know about you, the less power they have to influence, manipulate, or sabotage your journey. Think about it. How many times have you shared a plan only to feel the sting of unsolicited advice, doubt, or outright negativity? Sometimes even the most well-meaning individuals can project their fears or insecurities onto your vision, diluting your confidence. It's not that people are inherently malicious, it's that they see the world through their own lens, a lens that may not align with your clarity of purpose. By keeping your intentions to yourself, you create a protective bubble where your ideas can thrive without interference. Privacy also cultivates mystery, and mystery is a powerful tool. When people don't know your next move, they can't anticipate it. They can't prepare to block it, nor can they undermine it. Instead, they are left guessing, and in that guessing, you gain the upper hand. It's not about secrecy for the sake of secrecy, it's about strategy. Every great achiever understands the importance of timing and discretion. They unveil their plans at the right moment, ensuring maximum impact while minimizing the chances of opposition. Privacy nurtures your energy. When you refrain from sharing everything, you conserve the mental and emotional resources often spent explaining, justifying, or defending your decisions. This saved energy can be redirected toward action and execution, the very elements that bring your goals to life. Sharing prematurely can dissipate your focus, leaving you drained before you've even started. Silence, on the other hand, sharpens your resolve. It allows you to stay rooted in your purpose without the noise of external opinions clouding your path. In a world where social media encourages constant exposure, the act of keeping something to yourself can feel radical. We live in an age where validation is sought through likes, comments, and shares, but true validation comes from within. The satisfaction of working quietly toward a goal and achieving it without fanfare is unmatched. It's a reminder that your worth isn't tied to public acknowledgement, but to the substance of your efforts and results. Privacy also safeguards your relationships. Not every detail of your personal life needs to be a public spectacle. When you share too much about your struggles, triumphs, or even your partnerships, you open the door for opinions, judgments, and interference. People may start to feel entitled to comment on your life even when they have no real stake in it. By keeping certain aspects of your relationships private, you protect their sanctity. You allow them to grow organically, free from the weight of external scrutiny. Beyond relationships, privacy shields your vulnerabilities. Every person has fears, doubts, and insecurities. When you broadcast these to the world, you expose yourself to exploitation. Not everyone will use that information kindly, some may weaponize it against you. But when you keep those parts of yourself private, you maintain a sense of security. You can work through your challenges on your own terms, seeking support only from those who have earned your trust. There's also an element of dignity in privacy. It speaks to your self-respect and your understanding of boundaries. When you choose not to share every detail of your life, you're signaling that your life is valuable, that it's not up for public consumption. This self-contained approach earns respect, as it demonstrates maturity and self-assurance. People are naturally drawn to those who exude confidence and restraint, qualities that are amplified by the art of keeping certain things private. Privacy is a form of freedom. It frees you from the expectations and judgments of others. It allows you to live authentically, guided by your own intuition and values rather than the shifting opinions of the crowd. In that freedom lies true power, the power to shape your life as you see fit, unencumbered by the noise of external influences. So as you navigate the complexities of life, remember the strength in silence. Cherish the mysteries you keep, for they are your treasures. The less people know, the less they can control. And in that space of privacy, you find clarity, focus, and the unyielding power to be the master of your own destiny. Dreams are fragile creations, delicate like a newly budding flower. They emerge from within, often in moments of quiet reflection, sparked by a yearning for something greater. When a dream is born, it's not yet strong enough to endure the storms of doubt, criticism, or skepticism. It needs nurturing, care, and time to grow into something resilient. The reality, however, is that not everyone will see your vision as you do. Not everyone will understand it, respect it, or support it, and that's why you must protect your dreams fiercely. Your vision is deeply personal. It's a reflection of your aspirations, values, and purpose. It's something only you can fully comprehend because it's been shaped by your unique experiences and inner desires. Yet, when shared too openly or too soon, it becomes vulnerable. People, even those with good intentions, may not grasp its significance. They might unintentionally diminish it with careless words, questioning its practicality or viability. They might overlay their own fears onto your dreams, asking, "Are you sure this is realistic, or what if it doesn't work out?" These seeds of doubt, once planted, can grow into obstacles that hinder your progress. It's important to remember that others are not obligated to see your vision clearly. They are not walking your path or carrying the same passion in their hearts. What feels like a life-changing mission to you might seem trivial or unattainable to them. That's not a reflection of your dream's value, but of their limited perspective. People often project their insecurities onto others, not out of malice, but because they lack the courage to chase their own dreams. If they can't envision greatness for themselves, how can they recognize it in your aspirations? Protecting your vision requires discernment. Not everyone deserves a front row seat to your journey. Share your dreams selectively with people who have proven themselves trustworthy and supportive. Look for those who uplift and encourage rather than criticize and tear down. Even then, keep in mind that your dream's most important guardian is you. It's your responsibility to shelter it from negativity and distractions until it's strong enough to stand on its own. Keeping your vision private also allows it to develop without interference. When you share too soon, you open the door to external influences that can alter the original purity of your idea. Everyone has an opinion, and those opinions can cloud your judgment. You might find yourself second-guessing your instincts or trying to please others by adjusting your plans. This can dilute the essence of your vision, making it less authentic and aligned with your true purpose. Time is a crucial factor in nurturing your dreams. They need patience and quiet effort to grow. Just as a seed planted in the soil needs time to sprout and bloom, your vision needs time to evolve. During this phase, it's vulnerable to external conditions, much like a seedling exposed to harsh weather. The more you protect it, the more it can flourish without unnecessary setbacks. Work quietly, diligently, and with unwavering focus. Let your actions, not your words, pave the way toward success. Another reason to safeguard your dreams is the competitive nature of the world. There are those who, upon hearing your ideas, might seek to replicate or undermine them. Not everyone will respect your originality. Some may try to discredit your efforts or take shortcuts to achieve what you're working hard to build. By keeping your vision under wraps, you eliminate the risk of it being prematurely revealed, misunderstood, or stolen. Protecting your dreams also fosters a deeper connection to them. When you keep them close to your heart, they become a source of personal motivation and inspiration. You're not seeking external validation or approval, you're driven by an inner fire that's uniquely yours. This self-reliance strengthens your resolve and keeps you aligned with your purpose even when challenges arise. The beauty of this approach is that when the time is right, your dream will speak for itself. It will no longer be a delicate idea needing protection, but a tangible reality that stands as a testament to your dedication. By then, it won't matter who doubted you or failed to understand your vision. What will matter is that you believed in yourself enough to see it through. Protecting your vision isn't about secrecy, it's about strategy. It's about recognizing the value of your dreams and treating them with the care they deserve. It's about staying true to yourself and refusing to let the noise of the world drown out the voice of your intuition. Big dreams are delicate, but with the right balance of courage, patience, and discretion, they can grow into something extraordinary. Energy is one of the most valuable currencies you possess. It fuels your actions, shapes your mindset, and determines the quality of your life. Unlike money, energy cannot simply be earned back once spent. Every ounce of emotional, mental, and physical energy you expend leaves a mark on your overall well-being. This is why guarding your energy, your time, focus, and emotions is essential. It's not just about protecting yourself, it's about directing your energy toward the things that truly matter. Time and energy are intertwined. Every moment you spend is a transaction, an exchange of your finite time for something, an experience, a task, or an interaction. The question is, are these transactions worthy of the energy you're investing? Too often, people pour their energy into things that drain them, be it toxic relationships, meaningless arguments, or pursuits that offer little return. Recognizing the value of your energy means being intentional about how and where you spend it. Think of your energy as a treasure chest. You wouldn't leave your treasures unguarded, accessible to anyone who walks by, would you? The same principle applies to your time and emotions. Every time you allow negativity, distractions, or unworthy causes to consume your energy, you're giving away pieces of yourself that could be better spent on building your dreams, nurturing meaningful connections, or simply enjoying life. Guarding your energy begins with understanding its limits. You are not an endless reservoir. Your energy requires renewal and care. When you overextend yourself, giving too much of your time to others or spreading yourself thin across too many commitments, you run the risk of burnout. This depletion affects your ability to think clearly, make decisions, and maintain emotional stability. Protecting your energy means saying no when necessary, setting boundaries, and prioritizing your well-being. Emotions, in particular, are a critical part of your energy. They shape how you perceive the world and how you interact with others. But emotions can also be hijacked. When you let anger, frustration, or resentment consume you, you're spending valuable emotional energy on situations that often don't deserve it. For instance, holding grudges or engaging in arguments might feel justified in the moment, but they rarely lead to meaningful outcomes. Instead, they drain you and leave you with less energy for things that bring you joy or progress. Protecting your energy also means being mindful of the people you allow into your life. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Some individuals lift you up, energize you, and inspire you to be your best self. Others drain your energy with negativity, criticism, or selfishness. It's important to recognize these dynamics and adjust accordingly. This might mean limiting your time with certain people, or in some cases, cutting ties altogether. Your energy is too precious to waste on relationships that don't serve you. Distractions are another significant drain on your energy. In today's world, it's easy to lose hours scrolling through social media, consuming news that provokes anxiety, or engaging in trivial activities that offer no real value. These distractions may seem harmless, but they chip away at your focus and leave you feeling scattered. Being intentional about your time means eliminating distractions and directing your energy toward activities that align with your goals and values. Whether it's pursuing a passion, building a career, or spending quality time with loved ones, these are the things that truly enrich your life. One of the most profound ways to protect your energy is by practicing self-care. This isn't just about physical health. Though that's important, it's about creating space for rest, reflection, and renewal. Whether it's through meditation, exercise, or simply taking time to be alone, these moments of self-care replenish your energy and prepare you to face life's challenges. They allow you to show up fully for the things that matter, rather than dragging yourself through the motions. Treating your energy as currency means valuing yourself enough to invest wisely. It's about understanding that every decision, every action, and every interaction has a cost. When you spend your energy on things that align with your purpose, you create a life that is fulfilling and meaningful. When you waste it on negativity, distractions, or unworthy causes, you deplete yourself and limit your potential. So guard your time and emotions like treasures, because that's exactly what they are. Be discerning about where you invest your energy, and don't be afraid to pull back when something doesn't feel right. The more intentional you are about preserving your energy, the more you'll have to spend on the people, passions, and pursuits that truly matter. And in that, you'll find not just success, but a sense of peace and fulfillment that is priceless. Silence is one of the most underrated and underused tools of power. In a world filled with noise, constant chatter, and relentless distractions, silence can be transformative. It's in the quiet moments, the pauses between actions, that clarity emerges. When you learn to embrace silence, you unlock the ability to focus, reflect, and channel your energy toward meaningful achievements. Speaking less and listening more creates space for deeper understanding. In conversation, silence allows you to truly hear what others are saying, not just their words, but the underlying emotions and intentions. Many people feel the need to fill silences with words, fearing that quiet moments might signal discomfort or weakness. However, silence can be a position of strength. When you resist the urge to speak unnecessarily, you cultivate an air of mystery and confidence. Others may lean in closer, valuing your words more when you do choose to speak. Silence is also a tool for self-preservation. Words once spoken cannot be taken back. They can be misinterpreted, twisted, or used against you. By speaking less, you reduce the risk of giving away too much, whether it's your thoughts, plans, or vulnerabilities. People who overshare often find themselves entangled in unnecessary conflicts or drained by trying to justify or explain themselves. On the other hand, those who practice discretion and let their actions speak louder than words maintain their energy and focus. In moments of silence, you find clarity. The noise of the external world can easily cloud your judgment, making it difficult to distinguish between what truly matters and what's merely a distraction. When you step back and embrace stillness, your mind has the opportunity to process thoughts, organize priorities, and make sense of complex situations. Silence acts as a filter, allowing you to separate the essential from the trivial. This clarity extends to your goals and aspirations. When you quiet the noise around you, it becomes easier to connect with your inner self and understand what you truly want. Too often, people are influenced by external opinions, following paths that don't align with their authentic desires. In silence, you can reconnect with your core values and recalibrate your direction. You can hear the whispers of your intuition, guiding you toward decisions that resonate with your purpose. Silence isn't just about the absence of noise, it's also about the presence of intentionality. When you choose to be silent, you're not just refraining from speaking, you're making a deliberate choice to conserve your energy and focus it where it matters most. This intentionality fosters discipline, which is essential for achieving success. It's easy to get caught up in the habit of reacting to everything, but silence teaches you to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. In professional settings, silence can be a game changer. Leaders who master the power of silence often command respect and authority. They don't rush to fill the room with their opinions, but instead listen carefully, assess the situation, and speak with precision. Their words carry weight because they are deliberate and thoughtful. By contrast, those who talk excessively can come across as unprepared or insecure. Silence, when used strategically, can amplify your influence. Silence cultivates resilience. Life is filled with challenges, and not every battle needs to be fought with words. Sometimes the most powerful response is no response at all. Silence in the face of negativity, criticism, or provocation demonstrates strength and composure. It sends a message that you're in control, unshaken by external forces. This restraint can diffuse conflict and protect your peace. Silence also creates room for growth. In the quiet moments, you have the opportunity to learn and absorb new knowledge. By listening more and talking less, you open yourself up to insights and perspectives you might have missed otherwise. This continuous learning fuels your personal and professional development, allowing you to achieve more over time. Silence fosters deeper connections. When you truly listen to others without interrupting or rushing to respond, you show respect and empathy. This builds trust and strengthens bonds. Conversely, speaking too much or dominating conversations can push people away, creating barriers instead of bridges. Silence invites intimacy, allowing space for meaningful exchanges and mutual understanding. Silence is a form of power that doesn't rely on external validation. It's a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you don't need to prove yourself with words. Your actions, focus, and results become your voice. This kind of power is unshakable because it's rooted in self-assurance and clarity. In a noisy world, silence stands out. It's a rare and valuable skill that allows you to navigate life with intention and purpose. By speaking less and embracing quiet moments, you gain clarity, build resilience, and amplify your ability to achieve. Silence is not weakness, it's strength in its purest form. Trust is one of the most precious commodities in human relationships, yet it's also one of the easiest to misplace. It's the foundation upon which strong connections are built, but it's not something that should be handed out freely. Trust, like respect, must be earned. Being discerning about who you allow into your inner circle isn't just a matter of caution, it's an act of self-preservation and wisdom. At the heart of trust lies vulnerability. When you trust someone, you expose parts of yourself, your fears, dreams, weaknesses, and strengths. This openness makes trust a double-edged sword in the right hands. It can nurture growth and connection, but in the wrong hands, it can lead to hurt and betrayal. This is why it's crucial to be intentional about who you place your trust in. Not everyone deserves access to your inner world. There are people who will take your trust and cherish it, using it to support and uplift you. But there are also those who may exploit it for their own gain, whether intentionally or out of carelessness. Learning to differentiate between the two types requires observation, patience, and a willingness to set boundaries. Trust isn't built overnight. It develops gradually through consistent actions and behaviors that align with words. Someone who genuinely values your trust will demonstrate integrity and reliability over time. They'll show up when they say they will, keep their promises, and respect your boundaries. These seemingly small actions are the building blocks of trust, and they reveal a person's character far more than grand gestures or empty words ever could. Being discerning about trust doesn't mean closing yourself off from the world. It means recognizing that your energy and emotional resources are limited and precious. Allowing just anyone into your inner circle dilutes the quality of those connections and opens you up to unnecessary risks. By being selective, You create space for relationships that are meaningful and reciprocal, where trust is both given and earned. One of the most important aspects of discerning trust is listening to your intuition. Often your instincts can pick up on subtle cues that your conscious mind might overlook. If something feels off about a person or situation, it's worth paying attention to those feelings. Intuition isn't about being paranoid, it's about being attuned to the signals that help protect you from harm. At the same time, it's important to understand that trust is not static, it can be lost or broken. Even someone you've trusted for years can make mistakes or betray your confidence. While forgiveness can be a part of healing, rebuilding trust takes time and effort from both parties. It's a process that requires accountability, transparency, and a willingness to address the root causes of the breach. Being discerning also means recognizing that trust is not a one-size-fits-all concept. You may trust different people with different aspects of your life. For instance, you might trust a friend with your emotional struggles, but not with sensitive financial matters. Understanding these distinctions helps you manage expectations and avoid unnecessary disappointments. It's equally vital to be aware of how you extend trust in professional settings. In work environments, misplaced trust can have significant consequences, from damaged reputations to missed opportunities. Trusting someone in this context requires not only assessing their skills and reliability, but also their intentions and alignment with shared goals. When you're careful about who you collaborate with, you create a foundation for success rather than vulnerability. Another critical aspect of discerning trust is understanding your own boundaries. Trusting someone doesn't mean giving them unlimited access to every part of your life. It means allowing them into certain spaces where they've proven themselves worthy. Clear boundaries protect both you and the relationship, ensuring that trust is nurtured rather than strained. Discernment shouldn't turn into cynicism. It's easy to become jaded after experiencing betrayal or disappointment, but it's important to remember that not everyone will hurt or deceive you. Being cautious doesn't mean expecting the worst from everyone. It means allowing people to show you who they are before you invest deeply in them. Trust is a gift, not an obligation. It's something you offer to those who've demonstrated they can handle it with care. By being selective about who you let into your inner circle, you're not only protecting yourself but also elevating the quality of your relationships. Trusting wisely ensures that your emotional energy is spent on connections that enrich your life rather than deplete it. In a world where trust is often taken for granted, choosing to be discerning is an act of strength and self-respect. It's about valuing yourself enough to only surround yourself with people who value you in return. Trust isn't about being perfect or expecting perfection from others. It's about finding those who are willing to grow with you, honor your vulnerabilities, and stand by you in both good times and bad. When you choose to trust wisely, you build a life filled with authentic, meaningful connections that stand the test of time. Your personal growth is a deeply individual journey, one that unfolds uniquely for you in its own time and space. It's a sacred process of transformation, marked by challenges, breakthroughs, and quiet victories. While it can be tempting to share your progress with others, especially when you're proud of your accomplishments or excited about what's to come, keeping your growth private is often the wisest choice. Prematurely unveiling your journey can create unnecessary distractions, invite judgment, and even derail the momentum you've worked so hard to build. When you embark on a path of personal or professional growth, it's not just about setting goals, it's about developing the mindset, discipline, and resilience required to achieve them. This process demands focus and dedication, both of which can be easily disrupted when you allow too many external voices into your journey. Sharing your plans or progress too soon opens the door to opinions, critiques, and unsolicited advice that may not align with your vision. Even well-meaning input can plant seeds of doubt, shifting your focus away from the work itself and toward justifying or explaining your decisions to others. Momentum in growth is a fragile thing. It's the cumulative effect of consistent effort, driven by intrinsic motivation and a clear sense of purpose. When you expose your journey to others before it's fully developed, you risk diluting that momentum. External validation, or the lack thereof, can create an artificial sense of accomplishment or, conversely, discourage you from continuing. Growth thrives in the quiet spaces where you can experiment, learn, and evolve without fear of judgment or comparison. Comparison is another pitfall of sharing your journey prematurely. When you put your progress out into the world, it inevitably invites comparison to others. Someone might question your methods, highlight their own achievements, or offer unsolicited feedback that makes you second-guess yourself. This can lead to feelings of inadequacy or the temptation to alter your path to match someone else's. True growth is deeply personal and should be guided by your own values and aspirations, not by the expectations or experiences of others. Keeping your growth private also allows you to preserve the authenticity of your journey. When you're not performing for an audience, you're free to focus solely on the process itself. You can make mistakes, pivot, and refine your approach without the added pressure of external scrutiny. This freedom fosters creativity and innovation, enabling you to discover solutions and insights that might have been stifled in a more public setting. There's also a psychological benefit to maintaining privacy during your growth process. By keeping your plans and progress to yourself, you reinforce your own accountability. You're not relying on external praise or recognition to keep you motivated. Instead, you're driven by a deeper, more sustainable source of inspiration. This self-reliance builds confidence and resilience, qualities that will serve you long after you've achieved your current goals. Not everyone in your life will understand or support your journey. People bring their own biases, insecurities, and limitations into their perceptions of your growth. Some may feel threatened by your progress, while others may unintentionally project their fears onto you. Sharing your journey with such individuals can lead to unnecessary conflict or self-doubt. By keeping your growth private, you protect yourself from these potential negative influences and ensure that your energy remains focused on what truly matters. Privacy doesn't mean isolation, though. It's important to have a trusted circle of mentors, friends, or confidants who can provide guidance and encouragement. The key is to be selective about who you share your journey with. Choose individuals who genuinely support your growth, respect your boundaries, and offer constructive feedback when needed. These relationships can be a source of strength and inspiration without compromising your momentum. As your growth becomes more tangible, there will be a time and place to share your accomplishments. By then, you'll be standing on a solid foundation, confident in the work you've done and the person you've become. Sharing from this place of strength not only inspires others, but also ensures that you're presenting a fully realized vision of your journey, one that can withstand the scrutiny and opinions of the outside world. Keeping your growth private is an act of self-respect. It's about honoring the delicate process of transformation and giving yourself the space to evolve without interference. Your journey is yours, and it deserves the protection and care required to reach its fullest potential. In the quiet of your efforts, you'll find the strength to grow, the clarity to stay true to your path, and the momentum to achieve what you once only dreamed possible. Let your results speak for themselves when the time is right, and until then, guard your growth with the same dedication you bring to nurturing it. The message is simple yet profound: protect what's sacred to you. Whether it's your dreams, your energy, your trust, or your personal growth, these aspects of your life are treasures that deserve respect and care. By choosing discretion, you shield yourself from unnecessary distractions, negativity, and judgment, allowing your efforts to flourish in their own time. Privacy isn't about isolation, it's about preservation. It's about knowing what to share, when to share, and with whom, so you stay true to your vision and purpose. The power of silence, the strength of boundaries, and the wisdom of discernment are your allies on the path to success. Guard your energy, protect your journey, and let your results speak louder than words ever could. The life you're building deserves nothing less than your full attention and unwavering dedication. Thank you for taking the time to reflect on these truths. May they empower you to move forward with clarity, strength, and purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about power not in your fists or in your voice, but in your silence. The kind of power that doesn't shout or beg, but simply is. No contact isn't just a tactic, it's a declaration of your value. A silent reminder that you don't chase, you attract. And today I'm going to give you 5 undeniable signs that your silence is speaking volumes. When you stop making yourself available, you create a void. And let me tell you something about human nature. We don't notice the air we breathe until it's gone. Suddenly the messages come through. The questions start to flow. Are you okay? What's going on? They feel the shift. And now they're wondering why the silence feels so loud. The most powerful thing you can do is stand tall in your own solitude. When you stop reaching out, you find strength you didn't know you had. You begin to shine, and people notice that glow. That's the magic of self-respect. It's like a magnet pulling the right things toward you while repelling what no longer serves you. Here's the truth: your absence forces them to confront themselves. Maybe they start posting more. Maybe they suddenly act like they're doing better than ever. But deep down, they're trying to convince themselves they're not affected. Don't be fooled by the show. Your silence is making waves. No contact isn't just about them, it's about you. When you step away, you stop feeding the cycle of hurt and confusion. The pain starts to lose its grip on you. And in its place, peace. That's when you know you're winning, when your heart beats steady and your mind is clear. And then, one day it happens. The power shifts. They start chasing what they once took for granted. They realize what you knew all along: your presence was a privilege. And now, they're the ones wondering if they still have a chance. Silence isn't weakness, it's strength in its purest form. When you go no contact, you're telling the world, I am worth more than this. And the world, whether it's a person, an opportunity, or a blessing, responds accordingly. True transformation often begins in the most unlikely of places: silence. In a world consumed by constant chatter, distractions, and the incessant hum of notifications, silence can seem like an unfamiliar, even uncomfortable void. Yet, it is within that stillness that profound change takes root. Silence doesn't beg for attention, it doesn't demand acknowledgement. It simply exists, holding within it the power to shift perspectives, heal wounds, and reveal truths that were previously obscured by the noise. When the noise stops, the message begins. Imagine a still lake, untouched by ripples, reflecting the world around it with perfect clarity. This is what silence offers us: a chance to see things as they truly are, not as they appear in the chaos of daily life. It is within this reflective space that transformation occurs. When we are no longer consumed by the distractions of the external world, we are forced to turn inward, to face the thoughts and feelings we often bury beneath the surface. In silence, there is no escaping ourselves. We confront our fears, our doubts, and our desires, and through that confrontation, we begin to grow. Silence also teaches us patience. In the stillness, there is no rush, no urgency to fill the void with words or actions. This pause allows us to observe rather than react, to understand rather than judge. When we stop trying to force answers, they often come to us unbidden, like a whisper carried on the wind. True transformation doesn't happen in an instant, it unfolds gradually, like the blooming of a flower. Silence provides the fertile ground for this process, giving us the space we need to listen, not just to others, but to ourselves. Silence can feel intimidating. It strips away the distractions that shield us from our own thoughts and emotions. It is in the quiet moments that we hear the doubts we've been avoiding, the dreams we've neglected, and the truths we've been afraid to face. But this confrontation is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. For it is only when we face these truths that we can begin to transform them. Silence also has a way of amplifying the important things. When the noise ceases, we begin to notice the subtleties: the way our breath flows in and out, the rhythm of our heartbeat, the quiet hum of life all around us. This heightened awareness brings with it a sense of connection, a reminder that we are part of something larger than ourselves. It is in these moments of quiet reflection that we often find clarity, purpose, and direction. Silence can be equally transformative. Words are powerful, but they are not always necessary. Sometimes the greatest understanding comes not from what is said, but from what is left unsaid. In silence, we learn to truly listen, not just to the words of others, but to the emotions behind them. We discover the depth of connection that exists beyond language, a connection that is felt rather than spoken. In silence, we also reclaim our power. It is easy to lose ourselves in the noise of others' opinions, expectations, and judgments. But when we step back into the quiet, we rediscover our own voice. We remember that we are not defined by the chatter around us, but by the truth within us. Silence allows us to break free from the external pressures that often dictate our lives, giving us the freedom to live authentically and intentionally. Silence is not an absence, it is a presence, a powerful, transformative presence that invites us to slow down, to reflect, and to grow. It is a space where healing begins, where clarity emerges, and where the noise of the world fades away, leaving only what truly matters. So the next time you find yourself surrounded by noise, take a moment to step into the silence. Let it guide you, transform you, and remind you of the strength that lies within. For it is in the quiet moments, when the noise stops, that the most profound messages begin to speak. Time and space have an extraordinary ability to reshape our understanding of the world. When we step away from a situation, a relationship, or even our own thoughts, we create the opportunity to see things with a clarity that isn't accessible in the heat of the moment. Distance is not merely a separation, it is a powerful tool for reflection and growth. It allows us to strip away the emotions, assumptions, and biases that cloud our judgment, revealing the truth that often lies hidden beneath the surface. When we are too close to something, our perspective becomes limited. Think of it as standing inches away from a painting. At that proximity, the details blur, and we lose sight of the bigger picture. Every brushstroke seems chaotic, and it's impossible to appreciate the masterpiece as a whole. But when we take a few steps back, the colors blend harmoniously, the shapes come to life, and the purpose behind every stroke becomes clear. This is what distance offers us in life, the ability to step back and see the whole story, not just the fragmented pieces. Time works hand in hand with distance. In the moment, emotions often run high. Anger, sadness, or even excitement can cloud our ability to think rationally. But as time passes, those emotions begin to settle. What once felt overwhelming starts to fade, and we gain a more balanced perspective. It's like muddy water in a glass. If you keep stirring it, it remains murky. But if you let it sit, the sediment settles to the bottom, and the water becomes clear. Time allows our thoughts and feelings to settle, giving us the clarity we need to understand situations more fully. Distance also provides the space for self-reflection. When we remove ourselves from a situation, we are no longer consumed by the dynamics of the moment. Instead, we have the opportunity to examine our own role, our choices, and our reactions. This introspection is invaluable. It's in these moments of solitude that we often uncover truths about ourselves, truths that are difficult to see when we are entangled in the complexities of everyday life. We may realize that we were holding on to something out of fear, or that we were reacting from a place of insecurity rather than understanding. One of the greatest gifts of distance is its ability to reveal what truly matters. In the moment, it's easy to get caught up in trivialities or to assign importance to things that don't deserve it. But when we step away, we can more easily discern between what is essential and what is not. Distance has a way of highlighting what adds value to our lives and what drains it. It shows us where to invest our energy and where to let go. In particular, benefit from this perspective. Sometimes we hold on to people or situations out of habit, obligation, or fear of change, but when we create space, we can evaluate those relationships more objectively. We can ask ourselves whether they are truly serving us, whether they align with our values and goals, and whether they bring out the best in us. Distance often brings clarity, and with that clarity comes the courage to make choices that align with our highest good. Distance is not just about stepping away from others, it's also about stepping closer to ourselves. In the quiet moments that distance provides, we reconnect with who we are. We rediscover our values, our passions, and our dreams. We begin to see ourselves not as we think others perceive us, but as we truly are. This self-awareness is the foundation of personal growth and empowerment. Distance and time are not just about letting go, they are about gaining perspective. They are about creating a space where the noise fades and the truth becomes audible. When we allow ourselves this space, we can see things as they truly are, not as they appeared in the chaos of the moment. And in that clarity, we find the wisdom and strength to move forward with purpose and intention. Growth often requires a step away from the familiar, a deliberate separation from the constant noise of interaction and routine. It is in this space, away from the distractions and demands of everyday connections, that clarity emerges. The absence of constant engagement isn't a void to fear, it's a fertile ground where transformation begins to take root. When we are surrounded by constant interaction, whether with people, situations, or even our own thoughts, it can feel as though we are caught in a whirlwind. There's little time to pause, reflect, or assess. The continual exchanges of energy and emotions can blur our judgment, leaving us reactive rather than intentional. But when separation occurs, whether by choice or circumstance, it creates the stillness needed for perspective to take shape. In this stillness, the mind quiets and the heart begins to speak truths that were previously drowned out by the noise. Separation offers us the gift of introspection. When we are removed from the constant pull of relationships or responsibilities, we can finally turn inward. This isn't about isolation or loneliness, it's about connection with oneself. In the space of separation, we begin to recognize patterns in our behavior and thoughts. We see clearly the habits that serve us and the ones that hinder our progress. This self-awareness becomes the foundation for meaningful growth. True growth is rarely visible in the moment. It unfolds gradually, like a seed buried in the soil. At first, it seems as though nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, in the darkness and solitude, the seed is transforming. It is breaking open, stretching its roots, and preparing to reach for the light. Similarly, in the absence of constant interaction, we too undergo a transformation that isn't always immediately apparent. The silence and separation allow us to gather strength, focus, and clarity, setting the stage for profound change. Separation also challenges us to confront the aspects of ourselves that we might otherwise avoid. When we are constantly surrounded by others, it's easy to project our struggles outward, blaming circumstances or relationships for our frustrations. But in the space of separation, there's no one else to distract us from ourselves. This can be uncomfortable, but it is also incredibly powerful. It forces us to face our fears, insecurities, and doubts. And in doing so, we learn to overcome them. We discover resilience we didn't know we had and a deeper understanding of who we are. One of the most profound realizations that comes from separation is the recognition of what truly matters. Without the constant input of others' opinions or the pressures of external expectations, we can evaluate our priorities with greater clarity. We begin to see which relationships, goals, and values align with our authentic selves and which ones we've been holding on to out of habit or obligation. This clarity is a compass, guiding us toward a life that is more intentional and fulfilling. In relationships, separation often provides the perspective needed to appreciate the connection fully. When we step away, we gain a better understanding of the dynamics at play. We see the strengths and weaknesses of the bond, and we have the opportunity to decide whether it nurtures our growth or holds us back. Sometimes separation leads to reconciliation and renewal, and other times it reveals the need to move on. Either way, it is an essential part of the process. Growth thrives in separation because it allows us to return to ourselves. It reminds us that we are whole, even when we are alone. It teaches us that our worth is not dependent on constant interaction or external validation. In the absence of others, we learn to nurture our own needs, pursue our own dreams, and build our own strength. Separation is not the end of the story, it's the beginning of a new chapter. It's the space where clarity is born, where intentions are sharpened, and where growth becomes undeniable. In this space, we are not running away from life, we are preparing ourselves to engage with it more fully, more authentically, and with greater purpose. It is here, in the quiet and solitude, that we become the person we are meant to be. Actions often speak louder than words. And when your absence begins to leave its mark, the actions of others can reveal a profound truth: they miss you. It's in this space of separation, where your presence is no longer taken for granted, that regret often starts to take root. People begin to reflect on what they had, what they lost, and most importantly, the role you played in their lives. This shift is not immediate, but when it comes, it is unmistakable. In the day-to-day routine of life, it's easy for people to overlook what they have. Familiarity can dull appreciation, and the comfort of knowing someone will always be there can lead to complacency. But absence creates a void, and in that void, clarity emerges. The things once taken for granted become glaringly obvious in their absence. Your kindness, support, and presence, which were once background noise in the chaos of life, suddenly become front and center in their thoughts. Regret is not just a feeling, it's a catalyst for change. When someone begins to feel the weight of your absence, their behavior often shifts in ways that reveal their inner turmoil. They might start reaching out more frequently, trying to bridge the gap that has grown between you. These attempts to reconnect are often subtle at first: a casual message, an unexpected call, or an effort to be present in spaces where they know you might be. These actions, though seemingly small, are laden with meaning. They reflect an acknowledgement of your value and a desire to restore what was lost. Sometimes regret manifests in more profound ways. People might begin to change their behavior, striving to show that they've learned from past mistakes. They may take steps to address the issues that led to the separation, whether it's working on their communication skills, showing more gratitude, or making an effort to prioritize the relationship. These actions are often driven by an understanding that your absence has taught them something invaluable: your worth cannot be replaced, and losing you was not something they want to risk again. It's important to recognize that these actions are not always immediate. Regret often takes time to surface. Initially, people might deny the impact of your absence, convincing themselves that life goes on as usual. But over time, the reality sets in. They begin to notice the quiet spaces where your laughter once filled the room, the unanswered questions that only you could answer, and the comfort that only your presence could provide. This growing awareness can be a humbling experience, one that forces them to confront their own shortcomings and the ways they may have failed to appreciate you. Your absence also holds a mirror to their lives, forcing them to examine their priorities and values. They may start to question why they allowed the relationship to falter and whether they were truly present and engaged when they had the chance. These reflections can be painful, but they are also necessary for growth. Regret, in this context, becomes a teacher, guiding them toward greater self-awareness and a deeper understanding of what truly matters. While it's natural to feel a sense of validation when someone's actions begin to reflect regret, it's important to approach these moments with clarity and discernment. Regret alone is not enough to rebuild a relationship or heal old wounds. Actions must be consistent, sincere, and aligned with genuine growth. It's not about accepting someone back into your life simply because they realize they've made a mistake. It's about evaluating whether their actions demonstrate a commitment to change and a renewed respect for what you bring to their life. Your worth is not determined by someone else's realization of it. The absence that highlights your value to others is a testament to the unique and irreplaceable qualities you bring to the table. Whether their regret leads to reconciliation or simply serves as a lesson for them, it is ultimately a reflection of your impact. Your presence left a mark, and your absence underscores its significance. When someone's actions begin to reflect regret, it serves as a reminder of the power of your presence and the strength of your absence. It's a testament to your value, a validation of the unique role you played, and a sign that your worth is undeniable even when you're not there to remind them. Whether you choose to let them back into your life or continue on your path, their regret becomes a moment of clarity for both them and you. It's in these moments that the true weight of your absence and the depth of your worth is fully realized. Inner peace is a force unlike any other. It doesn't shout or demand attention, yet it commands respect and admiration. When you cultivate a sense of calm and self-assurance within yourself, it changes everything, not just how you see the world, but how the world responds to you. Strength, rooted in peace, becomes a magnetic energy that draws people and opportunities to your door without effort or pursuit. This magnetism starts with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are and being at ease with yourself. It is not about arrogance or superiority, it is about a deep connection to your inner truth. When you are at peace with yourself, you stop seeking external validation. You no longer feel the need to prove your worth to others or chase after recognition. Instead, you radiate a quiet strength that others can sense, even from a distance. Inner peace creates a natural allure because it is so rare in a world full of chaos and noise. Many people are consumed by their own insecurities, fears, and desires. They are constantly chasing something, whether it's approval, success, or love, and this restless energy can be exhausting to those around them. But when someone encounters a person who is grounded, composed, and secure in themselves, it is like finding an oasis in a desert. People are drawn to that serenity because it offers them a glimpse of what they too crave, a sense of wholeness and calm. This magnetism doesn't just attract people, it also opens doors to opportunities. When you are at peace with yourself, you make decisions from a place of clarity rather than desperation. You are not swayed by fear or the need to please others. Instead, you trust your intuition and follow the path that feels right for you. This alignment with your inner truth creates a ripple effect. The right opportunities seem to find you because your energy resonates with what you truly desire. You no longer have to chase success, it begins to flow to you naturally. Your interactions with others also change when you are centered in peace. People can sense when someone is genuinely present and not caught up in their own anxieties or agendas. This presence makes you a safe and comforting person to be around. Others feel heard and valued in your company because you are not projecting your own fears or insecurities onto them. This creates deeper and more meaningful connections, further enhancing your influence and the respect you garner. Inner peace is also a form of quiet rebellion against the pressures of the world. Society often equates success with constant hustle, loud ambition, and relentless pursuit. But true strength lies in the ability to step back, breathe, and trust the process. When you embody this strength, you become a living example of an alternative way of being, one that prioritizes balance, authenticity, and fulfillment over superficial achievement. This authenticity is magnetic because it is real, and people are naturally drawn to what is genuine. The journey to inner peace is not always easy. It requires self-reflection, patience, and a willingness to let go of what no longer serves you. It involves facing your fears, forgiving yourself for past mistakes, and embracing your imperfections. But as you do this inner work, you begin to notice a shift. The things that once seemed so important, chasing approval, comparing yourself to others, or proving your worth, start to lose their grip on you. In their place comes a quiet assurance that you are enough, just as you are. This shift doesn't go unnoticed by the world around you. People begin to treat you differently, not because you demand it, but because your energy commands it. When you carry yourself with calm confidence, others naturally respond with respect and admiration. They are drawn to your strength, not because you seek their attention, but because you don't need it. This independence is incredibly attractive, and it inspires others to find that same sense of peace within themselves. Inner peace is not about withdrawing from the world, it is about engaging with it on your own terms. It gives you the freedom to say no to what doesn't align with your values and to embrace what truly fulfills you. It allows you to move through life with grace, even in the face of challenges. And as you do so, you become a beacon for others, a source of light and inspiration that they can't help but be drawn to. Inner peace is the foundation for a magnetic life. It empowers you to live authentically, connect deeply, and attract what is meant for you without effort or chase. It is not something you find outside yourself, it is something you cultivate within. And once you do, the world around you begins to reflect the strength and serenity that you carry in your heart. The urge to act impulsively is deeply ingrained in human nature. When something feels uncertain or unresolved, the instinct is to bridge the gap, to reach out, to seek answers, or to assert control. However, this reaction often stems from fear or insecurity rather than strength. Acting in haste rarely leads to the outcomes we desire. Instead, it often complicates matters, pushing what we want further away or creating unnecessary tension. Patience, on the other hand, offers a different path, one of restraint, clarity, and purpose. Patience is not passive, it is a form of active discipline. It requires strength to sit with discomfort, to resist the pull of immediate action, and to trust that everything will unfold in its time. This strength comes from an inner assurance that you don't need to force anything to happen. When you hold back from reaching out in moments of uncertainty, you send a powerful message not just to others but to yourself. You affirm that you are in control of your emotions and choices, that you are not governed by fleeting impulses, and that you value the bigger picture over immediate gratification. When you practice patience, you create space for perspective. Impulsive actions are often short-sighted, driven by temporary emotions that cloud your judgment. In contrast, patience allows you to step back, assess the situation with clarity, and respond from a place of wisdom. It gives you the time to understand what truly matters and what doesn't, and it helps you prioritize your long-term well-being over momentary relief. This shift in perspective often leads to better decisions, stronger relationships, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. Resisting the urge to reach out also shifts the dynamic in your relationships. When you act impulsively, you risk coming across as needy or dependent, which can create an imbalance. However, when you demonstrate patience and restraint, you show that you respect yourself and the boundaries of others. This self-respect is magnetic. It commands attention and earns respect in return. People are drawn to those who exude calm confidence, those who don't chase but instead allow things to come to them naturally. Patience also cultivates resilience. Each time you resist the urge to act impulsively, you strengthen your ability to endure discomfort and uncertainty. This resilience is a powerful asset in all areas of life, from personal relationships to professional endeavors. It equips you to handle challenges with grace, to navigate setbacks without losing your composure, and to remain focused on your goals even in the face of adversity. Over time, this resilience becomes a cornerstone of your strength, setting you apart as someone who can weather any storm with dignity and resolve. The power of patience lies not only in what it prevents but also in what it creates. By resisting impulsive actions, you create room for growth, understanding, and deeper connection. You allow others to come to their own realizations, to take responsibility for their actions, and to meet you halfway. You give situations the time they need to evolve naturally without interference or pressure. And in doing so, you often find that the outcomes are far more meaningful and enduring than anything you could have forced into being. Practicing patience also teaches you the value of timing. In life, timing is often everything. Acting too soon can disrupt the natural flow of events, while waiting for the right moment can lead to extraordinary results. Patience allows you to align with this flow, to trust that everything has its season, and to act when the time is right, not a moment sooner or later. This alignment with timing not only enhances your effectiveness, but also deepens your sense of peace and fulfillment. The power of patience lies in its quiet certainty. It is the confidence to know that you don't need to chase, force, or control, that everything meant for you will find its way to you in time. It is the discipline to hold your ground, to remain calm in the face of uncertainty, and to trust the process of life. When you embrace patience, you prove to yourself and to the world that true strength lies not in impulsive action but in the steady, unwavering resolve to wait for what is right. In the journey of silence, patience, and self-discovery, we uncover the profound power of stepping back, to allow life to unfold on its own terms. Whether it's through the strength of silence, the clarity of perspective, the growth born in separation, or the magnetic energy of inner peace, each principle reinforces the truth that discipline and trust in oneself are the ultimate victories. Resisting the pull of impulsive action shows the world, and more importantly yourself, that you are grounded, resilient, and in control of your destiny. As you embody these truths, you create a life that is not only aligned with your highest self, but also a source of inspiration to others. Remember, everything meant for you will come in its time. Trust the process, honor your growth, and let your inner strength guide you forward. Thank you for listening, and may your path be filled with wisdom, clarity, and peace. Ladies and gentlemen, let me start by saying this: there is no man, no force on this earth that can resist a woman who knows her worth. When you understand the power of these two words, you'll command attention, respect, and devotion. These words aren't magic, they're a declaration, a boundary, a statement of independence that says, I will not settle for less than I deserve. When you say them, they must carry weight. They must be unshakable, like the roots of an ancient tree, planted firmly in the soil of your self-respect. See, the problem isn't that men don't listen, it's that you don't speak your truth. You shrink, you compromise, you bend over backwards, thinking that's the way to win love. But let me tell you, real men aren't attracted to weakness. They're drawn to strength. And strength isn't loud or boastful. It's quiet. It's steady. It's a calm refusal to be anything other than exactly who you are. When you say no more, you're not begging, pleading, or explaining. You're drawing a line in the sand that cannot and will not be crossed. Let me be clear, this isn't about arrogance or ego. It's about dignity. It's about looking a man in the eye and saying, I'm not afraid to walk away if you don't rise to meet me. Because when you respect yourself, the world will follow suit. So sisters, don't chase. Don't beg. Don't twist yourself into knots trying to be what you think he wants. Instead, stand tall. Know that you are enough. And when the time comes, don't be afraid to utter those two words that will change everything: no more. With those words, you don't just command respect, you demand it. And that, my friends, is how you eat any man you want. The way you carry yourself speaks louder than any words you could ever say. Long before you utter a single syllable, the room has already decided how it will respond to you. Presence is not something you can fake or manufacture. It's an energy, a force, an unspoken language that commands attention and respect. It's the silent confidence that walks into a room ahead of you, declaring, I am here, without needing to make a sound. Those two words, whatever they may be, are powerless if not backed by a presence that demands admiration and attention. Think of the most captivating individuals you've ever encountered. Was it their beauty that struck you? Their wealth? Their talent? Perhaps. But more often than not, it was something intangible. It was the way they held their head high, the way they moved with purpose, the way their very stillness seemed to radiate strength. That's the power of presence. It's not about trying to be noticed, it's about embodying a self-assurance so profound that being noticed becomes inevitable. Presence begins within. It's rooted in how you see yourself before anyone else does. If you walk into a room doubting your worth, that doubt will bleed into every interaction. People will pick up on it, consciously or unconsciously, and respond accordingly. But if you step into that same room with the quiet certainty that you belong, that you are enough, everything changes. People are drawn to confidence because it is rare and because it makes them feel secure. When you exude self-assurance, you give others permission to see you as you see yourself. But presence is not arrogance. It's not about being the loudest voice or the flashiest dresser. True presence is understated. It doesn't need to announce itself. It's the calm in the storm, the unshakable foundation upon which everything else is built. It's in the way you listen more than you speak, the way you meet someone's gaze without flinching, the way you hold yourself as though you already know your value and need no one else to confirm it. Body language plays a crucial role in cultivating presence. How you stand, sit, and move tells a story about how you feel about yourself. Slouched shoulders, fidgeting hands, or a downcast gaze speak of insecurity and uncertainty. On the other hand, standing tall, moving with intention, and making eye contact convey confidence and composure. It's not just about what you say, it's about how you say it with your posture, your gestures, your very being. Silence, too, is a part of presence. There is immense power in the ability to be comfortable in silence. People who feel the need to fill every pause with words often betray their own nervousness. But when you can sit quietly, letting the moment breathe, you project a sense of control and self-assuredness. Silence can speak volumes, conveying a confidence that no amount of chatter ever could. Presence also requires authenticity. You can't fake it for long, and trying to do so will only exhaust you. People are incredibly perceptive. They can sense when someone is putting on an act. The most magnetic individuals are those who are unapologetically themselves. They don't try to conform to what others expect or want them to be. Instead, they embrace their quirks, their flaws, their uniqueness. This authenticity is what makes them compelling. It's what makes their presence feel real and grounded. Developing presence takes practice. It's not something that happens overnight. It requires a commitment to knowing yourself, to valuing yourself, and to presenting yourself in a way that aligns with that inner truth. It's about recognizing that you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your worth isn't up for negotiation, and your presence isn't contingent on someone else's validation. When you carry yourself with presence, everything you say and do gains weight. Your words are taken seriously, your actions are respected, and your boundaries are honored. This is why presence is so essential. It gives power to everything else. Without it, even the most eloquent words can fall flat, and the strongest arguments can be ignored. But with it, even the simplest statements can carry the force of a command. So before you speak those two words, whatever they may be, focus first on cultivating a presence that will make those words impossible to ignore. Walk into every room as though you belong there, not because you're trying to impress, but because you've already impressed yourself. Stand tall, move with intention, and let your energy do the talking. When you do, those two words will become more than just a statement. They'll become a declaration backed by the undeniable force of your presence. And that, more than anything, is what will leave a lasting impact. Words are among the most powerful tools we possess. They can inspire nations, heal wounds, or destroy relationships with a single utterance. Yet, their power is not inherent. Words themselves are nothing more than sounds or symbols until they are charged with meaning. It is the belief behind them, the conviction with which they are spoken, that transforms them into forces capable of moving hearts and minds. Without that inner certainty, even the most profound statements fall flat. When you speak, the world doesn't just listen to your words, it listens to your heart, your energy, your authenticity. Speaking with conviction means more than just raising your voice or choosing the right vocabulary. It's about embodying what you say so fully that your words and your being are one and the same. It's about standing firm in what you believe, so that every sentence carries the weight of your truth. People can sense when someone is speaking from a place of doubt or insincerity. Words spoken without belief are like arrows without tips. They may fly, but they fail to penetrate. On the other hand, words delivered with conviction cut through noise, leaving a mark that lingers long after they've been spoken. To speak with conviction, you must first believe in what you're saying. That belief comes from knowing yourself, knowing your values, your principles, and your truth. When your words stem from this foundation, they carry an authenticity that cannot be faked. You don't need to overcompensate or dress your statements in flowery language. Simplicity becomes powerful when it's spoken with absolute certainty. A quiet, assured tone can have more impact than the loudest shout when it comes from someone who truly believes in what they're saying. Conviction also requires emotional alignment. It's not just about knowing the right thing to say, it's about feeling it deeply. People are emotional beings. They respond not only to logic but to the energy behind the words. If your emotions and your words are in harmony, your message becomes irresistible. Think of great orators, leaders, or even close friends who've inspired you. Their words resonated because they came from a place of deep emotional connection to what they were expressing. Their conviction wasn't just intellectual, it was visceral. Conviction doesn't mean stubbornness or an unwillingness to listen. Speaking with conviction is not about dominating a conversation or imposing your views on others. It's about presenting your truth in a way that invites others to engage with it. Conviction is confident, but it's also respectful. It doesn't shout down dissent, it holds steady in the face of it. When you speak with conviction, you don't need to defend yourself with aggression or defensiveness. Your belief in your words is enough. Your body and voice are also essential tools in conveying conviction. How you say something is often just as important as what you say. A steady tone, deliberate pacing, and confident posture all communicate that you mean what you're saying. Hesitations, nervous laughter, or looking away as you speak can undermine even the strongest words. Practice aligning your physical presence with your message. Stand tall, make eye contact, and use your voice as an instrument to convey not just words but meaning. Speaking with conviction also means being willing to stand alone if necessary. Conviction often requires courage. There will be times when what you have to say is unpopular or challenges the status quo. In those moments, it's easy to falter, to soften your stance, or to remain silent. But true conviction means staying true to your beliefs, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about valuing your truth over the fear of judgment. When you stand firm in what you believe, others will respect you, even if they don't agree with you. One of the most remarkable aspects of conviction is its contagiousness. When you speak with genuine belief, you invite others to believe too. Your words have the power to ignite something in others, to awaken possibilities they hadn't considered. Conviction inspires trust because it signals that you're not merely speaking for the sake of speaking, you're offering something real, something worth considering. People are drawn to certainty in a world full of ambiguity. Your conviction can become a guiding light for those who are unsure. Conviction is not something you can force. It grows from practice and experience. It's built through moments of doubt and failure, where you've had to reaffirm what you stand for. Each time you choose to speak your truth, even when it's difficult, your conviction deepens. Over time, it becomes second nature, an unshakable foundation that strengthens every word you speak. When you speak with conviction, you don't just communicate, you create. You shape perceptions, inspire actions, and leave a legacy. Your words become more than sounds, they become a force that moves the world. So when you speak, let every word come from the core of who you are. Let your belief in what you say transform your message into something unforgettable. In doing so, you'll not only be heard, you'll be remembered. Understanding the mind of a man isn't about manipulation or trying to control his actions. It's about seeking genuine connection through insight into what drives him, what he values, and what he fears. Men, like all humans, are complex beings shaped by experiences, expectations, and inner desires. To truly connect with and understand them, you must approach with empathy, self-respect, and a willingness to see beyond the surface. This isn't a game of power. It's about building a bridge of understanding that aligns his values with your own self-worth. Men often value respect deeply, sometimes even above love. Respect, to a man, is more than just admiration. It's a sense of being seen and acknowledged for who he is and what he stands for. This doesn't mean agreeing with everything he says or does, but it does mean recognizing his efforts, dreams, and contributions without diminishing them. When a man feels respected, he opens up in ways that reveal his true nature. Respect creates a safe space where he can express vulnerability, a quality that society often teaches him to suppress. Respect must be mutual. This is where your self-worth becomes essential. If you sacrifice your boundaries or compromise your values to gain his respect or attention, the foundation becomes unstable. True understanding starts with valuing yourself. When you know your worth, you communicate it without needing to say a word. Men are naturally drawn to women who carry themselves with confidence and self-assurance. It's not about arrogance, it's about holding yourself to a standard that invites him to rise to meet you. Men also value trust, but trust isn't just about fidelity, it's about emotional security. A man needs to feel that he can be himself without fear of judgment or ridicule. This doesn't mean you should excuse harmful behavior, but it does mean creating an environment where he can be honest without fear of losing your respect. Trust is built over time through consistent actions and open communication. If a man feels safe enough to show his flaws and share his fears, you've tapped into a part of him that few others may see. It's equally important to understand that men often communicate differently than women. Where women may be more inclined to express feelings through words, men may do so through actions. A man's silence doesn't always mean disinterest or detachment sometimes. It's his way of processing emotions or finding solutions. Patience and attentiveness are crucial here. Instead of jumping to conclusions, observe his actions and listen when he's ready to speak. Understanding his communication style can prevent misunderstandings and deepen your connection. Another key to understanding men is recognizing what motivates them. Men often derive a sense of identity and purpose from their ability to provide, achieve, or protect. This doesn't necessarily mean financial provision. It can also mean offering emotional support or physical security. A man wants to feel needed, but not in a way that diminishes his partner's independence. It's about balance, letting him know his contributions matter without losing your own strength and autonomy. Acknowledging his need for autonomy is another essential aspect. Men value their independence and often need space to recharge, reflect, or pursue their goals. This isn't a sign of rejection, it's part of how many men maintain balance in their lives. Giving a man the freedom to be himself, while maintaining your own individuality, creates a dynamic where both of you can grow together without feeling constrained. Understanding this need for space shows that you respect his boundaries and trust the foundation of your relationship. On a deeper level, men crave connection just as much as women do, though they may express it differently. Beneath the surface, many men fear failure, inadequacy, or not being enough. When you understand this, you can approach interactions with compassion rather than frustration. Encouraging a man during his moments of doubt, reminding him of his strengths, and being a steady presence in his life can create a bond that is unbreakable. But remember, this support must be reciprocal. If he doesn't offer the same understanding and encouragement in return, the relationship becomes one-sided, and your worth must guide you to reassess. Understanding the mind of a man starts with understanding yourself. When you know your values, boundaries, and goals, you create a foundation that can't be shaken. From this place of strength, you can engage with him not as someone trying to fix or change him, but as an equal who seeks connection and understanding. Men respect and cherish women who are unapologetically themselves because it challenges them to bring their best selves to the table. This is not about bending yourself to fit his needs or expectations. It's about aligning what he values with the unshakable truth of your self-worth. When you approach a man from a place of understanding and confidence, you create a dynamic where both of you can thrive. It's not manipulation, it's connection. And that connection, built on mutual respect and understanding, is what lasts. Confidence is a force that radiates from within, shaping how others perceive you, and more importantly, how you perceive yourself. It's not about being loud or overbearing, but about standing firm in your identity, values, and purpose. Confidence over conformity means resisting the urge to change who you are to fit someone else's expectations or ideals. It means choosing authenticity over approval, strength over submission, and self-respect over shallow acceptance. Too often, people fall into the trap of conforming to what they think others want. They suppress their individuality, silence their opinions, and reshape their behavior to fit a mold that doesn't belong to them. While this may win temporary acceptance, it comes at the cost of self-worth. The truth is, trying to be someone you're not is exhausting and unsustainable. It creates a facade that may attract attention, but it will never inspire genuine respect or admiration. Confidence begins with knowing who you are and what you stand for. This self-awareness is the foundation of all authentic connections. When you are confident, you don't need to seek validation from others because you carry an unshakable belief in your worth. You know that you are enough just as you are. This belief frees you from the need to conform to societal pressures or personal expectations that don't align with your true self. Being confident doesn't mean being perfect. In fact, it means embracing your imperfections and owning your flaws. Confidence is about accepting all parts of yourself, your strengths, weaknesses, successes, and failures. When you stop trying to hide or fix everything you think is wrong with you, you free yourself from the constant need to seek approval. Instead, you project authenticity, which is far more attractive and inspiring than any facade of perfection. The power of confidence lies in its ability to set boundaries. When you know your worth, you won't settle for less than you deserve. Whether in relationships, career, or life in general, you'll have the courage to say no to situations and people that don't honor your values. Conformity often stems from a fear of rejection, but confidence reminds you that rejection is not the end of the world. It's simply a redirection towards something better suited to your true self. Confidence over conformity also means standing firm in your beliefs and choices, even when they go against the grain. It's easy to follow the crowd, to agree with popular opinions, or to do what's expected of you. But confidence requires courage, the courage to be different, to speak your truth, and to live authentically. This courage can be intimidating to others, but it's also what makes you unforgettable. People are drawn to those who are unapologetically themselves because it challenges them to do the same. True confidence isn't about dominating others or proving your superiority. It's about quiet assurance, a calm and steady belief in your abilities and purpose. This type of confidence doesn't shout for attention, it simply exists, unshaken by external opinions or circumstances. It's the kind of confidence that says, I know who I am, and I'm not afraid to show it. Confidence is magnetic because it's rare. In a world where so many people conform to fit in, those who dare to be themselves stand out effortlessly. They don't chase approval because they don't need it. Instead, they inspire respect and admiration simply by being who they are. This authenticity is what makes confidence so powerful. It's not about impressing others, but about expressing your true self. Confidence requires maintenance. It's not a one-time achievement, but an ongoing process of self-discovery and growth. Life will challenge your confidence, testing your resolve and pushing you to question yourself. In these moments, it's crucial to reconnect with your inner truth. Remind yourself of your strengths, revisit your values, and reaffirm your worth. Confidence is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Choosing confidence over conformity also means embracing vulnerability. Confidence isn't about pretending you have it all figured out. It's about being honest about your journey. It's about showing up as you are, flaws and all, and trusting that you are enough. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a testament to your strength and authenticity. When you allow yourself to be seen fully, you inspire others to do the same. Confidence over conformity is about liberation. It's about freeing yourself from the need to fit into boxes that were never meant for you. It's about living a life that feels true to who you are, rather than one dictated by the expectations of others. When you choose confidence, you choose yourself. And when you choose yourself, you become a force to be reckoned with, someone who commands respect, inspires change, and leaves a lasting impact simply by being authentic. The power of your presence, your voice, and your actions comes from your authenticity. Confidence isn't just about how you look or what you achieve, it's about who you are and how deeply you believe in yourself. When you stand in your truth, the world takes notice. You don't need to conform to earn approval. Your confidence is more than enough. And with that unshakable self-assurance, you can face any challenge, win any heart, and achieve any dream. Scarcity is a powerful force in human psychology. It shapes how people perceive value and dictates how they prioritize their attention and efforts. What's easily available is often taken for granted, while what feels rare or elusive becomes the focus of desire. This principle applies to relationships, opportunities, and nearly every aspect of life. When you master the art of creating scarcity, you elevate your worth in the eyes of others, making yourself a treasure to be earned rather than something freely available to all. The first step in embodying scarcity is recognizing your intrinsic value. You are not just anyone, you are unique with qualities, experiences, and strengths that no one else possesses. But if you don't treat yourself like something special, why should anyone else? Making yourself a mystery starts with holding yourself to a standard that demands respect. This doesn't mean being aloof or unkind, it means being selective about how you share your time, energy, and attention. Being scarce doesn't mean playing games or intentionally making yourself unavailable in a manipulative way. Instead, it's about prioritizing your well-being and recognizing that not everyone deserves access to you. Your time and energy are finite resources, and how you allocate them sends a message about your worth. When you spread yourself too thin or make yourself overly accessible, people may begin to undervalue your presence. But when you set boundaries and choose carefully who gets to be part of your life, you project confidence and self-respect. Part of creating scarcity lies in the art of mystery. Mystery captivates because it leaves people wanting to know more. It's the intrigue of the unknown that fuels curiosity and desire. Being a mystery doesn't mean hiding who you are, but rather sharing yourself in layers. Don't reveal everything about yourself all at once. Let others earn the privilege of knowing you deeply. This gradual unveiling creates a sense of discovery and keeps the connection dynamic and exciting. Scarcity also means knowing when to step back. Overexposure can dilute your impact. When you're constantly available, whether in conversations, social settings, or relationships, your presence can lose its novelty. By occasionally stepping away and giving others the space to miss you, you allow your absence to speak as powerfully as your presence. This doesn't mean disappearing entirely, but rather finding a balance that keeps interactions meaningful and purposeful. Another crucial aspect of scarcity is cultivating your independence. People are drawn to those who have their own lives, passions, and goals. When you are self-sufficient and focused on your growth, you naturally become more desirable. Independence sends the message that you are not reliant on others for your happiness or validation, which in turn makes people value their connection with you even more. It's a paradox. The less you seem to need others, the more they want to be around you. Scarcity doesn't mean rejecting vulnerability. In fact, vulnerability, when shared wisely, can deepen connections and create lasting bonds. The key is to be intentional about who you allow to see your vulnerable side. Not everyone is deserving of your full trust, and choosing carefully who gets to witness your authenticity only amplifies its value. When you share your deeper self selectively, it reinforces the idea that your inner world is a rare and precious gift. The concept of scarcity also applies to the way you communicate. Words, when used sparingly and thoughtfully, carry more weight. If you're always quick to respond, always explaining, or always available, your words can lose their impact. But when you speak with intention, when your words carry meaning and aren't offered frivolously, people are more likely to listen and value what you say. Similarly, actions that are deliberate and purposeful resonate more deeply than those done without thought. One of the most powerful ways to embody scarcity is by staying focused on your journey. People are naturally drawn to those who are driven by their own purpose. When you're dedicated to your growth, passions, and goals, you have magnetic energy that's hard to ignore. You become the kind of person others want to be around, not because you're chasing them, but because you're chasing something greater. This focus on yourself reinforces the idea that your time and attention are valuable and must be earned. Scarcity is not about being cold, distant, or unapproachable. It's about balance, knowing when to give and when to withhold, when to connect and when to step back. It's about valuing yourself so much that others can't help but value you too. It's about creating a dynamic where your presence feels like a privilege not a given. Scarcity breeds desire because it transforms the ordinary into the extraordinary. When people see that you are not easily swayed, that you hold yourself to a higher standard, and that your time and attention are precious, they begin to see you in a new light. You become someone worth pursuing, worth cherishing, and worth holding on to. And that's the kind of power that changes how the world responds to you. The word no is one of the simplest yet most transformative tools a woman can wield in her life, particularly in relationships. When spoken with conviction and clarity, it carries immense power. And when paired with more, as in no more, it becomes a declaration of self-worth, a boundary drawn in the sand, and a command for respect that cannot be ignored. These two words can shift the dynamics of any relationship, whether romantic, professional, or platonic, because they signal the end of compromise where it undermines dignity and the beginning of standing in your truth. At its core, no more is an act of reclaiming agency. Too often, women are conditioned to be accommodating, to put others' needs ahead of their own, or to avoid conflict at the expense of their own well-being. Saying no more breaks that cycle. It's a refusal to accept mistreatment, neglect, or anything less than what aligns with one's values and self-respect. It's not about being confrontational or combative, it's about asserting that you matter, that your voice matters, and that your boundaries will no longer be crossed. Setting boundaries is an act of self-love, and no more is the ultimate expression of those boundaries. Boundaries protect your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. They're not about keeping people out, but about ensuring that those who are allowed in treat you with care and respect. Without boundaries, relationships can become draining, one-sided, or even toxic. No more draws a clear line, signaling that you will no longer tolerate behavior that diminishes your worth. This phrase also commands respect in a way that few other words can. Respect is not something that can be begged for or demanded without merit, it is earned. However, the act of firmly stating no more inherently earns respect because it demonstrates strength, self-awareness, and the courage to stand up for yourself. Even if the other person doesn't immediately appreciate or agree with your stance, they cannot ignore the resolve it takes to say it. No more shifts the power dynamic in any relationship. In situations where one person has been taking more than they give, this phrase disrupts the imbalance. It forces reflection and accountability. It says, I am no longer available for your convenience, your excuses, or your half-hearted efforts. This isn't about revenge or retribution. It's about recalibrating the relationship to one of mutual respect and reciprocity. If the other person cannot rise to meet those standards, no more becomes the closing chapter of a relationship that no longer serves you. The power of no more extends beyond personal relationships and into every facet of life. In the workplace, it can mean refusing to accept being overworked and undervalued. In friendships, it can mean stepping away from those who drain your energy without giving back. In family dynamics, it can mean breaking free from patterns of guilt or obligation that stifle your growth. In every context, these words represent a commitment to your own well-being and the recognition that you deserve better. Saying no more is not always easy. It requires self-reflection to recognize when you've been compromising, too much courage to confront the situation, and resilience to stand by your decision. It may be met with resistance, anger, or attempts to manipulate you into backing down. But staying firm in your resolve is a testament to your strength and belief in your worth. It's a reminder that you are not responsible for how others react to your boundaries. You are only responsible for honoring yourself. This act of setting limits can also be incredibly freeing. When you say no more, you free yourself from the burden of tolerating what no longer aligns with your values or serves your growth. You make space for healthier, more fulfilling relationships and opportunities. You reclaim the time and energy that were once spent on things that drained you, redirecting them toward what truly matters. The beauty of no more is that it's not just an ending, it's a beginning. It's the start of a new chapter where you prioritize your needs, values, and happiness. It's a declaration that you will no longer settle for less than what you deserve. And as you practice this in various aspects of your life, You build a sense of confidence and self-assurance that radiates outward, attracting people and opportunities that align with your newfound standards. The power of no more lies in its simplicity and clarity. It doesn't require elaborate explanations or justifications. It doesn't invite debate. It is a statement of fact, a line drawn in the sand, and a promise to yourself that you will honor your worth. These two words can change your life, not because they force others to change, but because they empower you to take control of your own narrative. When you say no more, you are not just setting a boundary, you are reclaiming your power. The true power of no more lies in its ability to transform how you see yourself and how others see you. It's a declaration that you are no longer available for anything less than respect, love, and reciprocity. It sets the tone for how you expect to be treated and creates space for relationships, opportunities, and experiences that align with your worth. These two words are not just about boundaries, they are about liberation, empowerment, and reclaiming the narrative of your life. So when the moment calls for it, let these words flow from a place of confidence and self-love. Speak them with the knowledge that they honor your value and create a path toward the life you truly deserve. Thank you for embracing this journey of self-respect and strength. Your time, attention, and commitment to growth are deeply appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly invested in yourself? I'm not talking about the fleeting moments when you got inspired after scrolling through a motivational quote. I'm talking about the commitment, the blood, sweat, and discipline that it takes to become the person you're meant to be. You see, growth doesn't happen by accident. You don't wake up one day and suddenly have it all together. It's the small, deliberate choices you make every day. Are you reading, learning, practicing, and refining your craft? Or are you waiting for the world to hand you something you haven't earned? Because let me tell you something, success isn't handed out like a flyer on the street. You've got to chase it down and demand it for yourself. The world loves to talk. It will try to tell you who you are, what you can do, and how far you can go. But hear me now, those voices don't define you. Their doubts aren't your limits. Their opinions aren't your reality. Every time you let their words seep into your soul, you're giving them control. Take back your power. Focus on your vision and block out the noise. Let's get one thing straight. Ambition without humility is a recipe for failure. Stay hungry for success. Yes, work like your life depends on it, because it does. But never think for a second that you're above learning, that you've arrived, or that you're done growing. The minute you stop being a student of life, you stop winning at it. Everything starts in your mind. What you believe about yourself will shape what you become. If you think small, you'll live small. If you let fear dominate your thoughts, you'll never break free. But if you focus on your strength, your capability, and your vision, there is nothing you cannot achieve. Remember this: what you feed your mind today will show up in your life tomorrow. We live in a world obsessed with overnight success, but that's not real. What's real is the grind, the quiet, unglamorous steps you take each day. Don't wait for perfection to pat yourself on the back. Celebrate the small victories, the extra mile you ran, the extra hour you studied, the mistake you learned from. Progress is the name of the game. Stop looking left and right. Stop measuring yourself against someone else's highlight reel. Your only competition is the person you were yesterday. Ask yourself every morning, how can I be better today than I was yesterday? Then get to work and make it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, focus on you every single day. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Not because anyone else is watching, but because the person in the mirror deserves the best you can give. And when you do, the world will feel the weight of your greatness. Stay focused, stay driven, and never stop believing in your power to rise. Every day, when you wake up and take that first breath of morning air, you're faced with a choice. It's a choice so subtle, so unassuming that most people miss its power entirely. That choice is, this will today be just another day, or will it be a step toward becoming the best version of yourself? Growth doesn't happen by chance. It isn't something you stumble upon like a lucky coin on the sidewalk. No, greatness is built brick by brick with intention, purpose, and discipline. And the sooner you embrace this truth, the sooner your life will start to transform. Now let's get one thing straight: growth is uncomfortable. It challenges you. It pushes you to confront parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. But here's the secret: that discomfort is where the magic happens. You see, it's easy to stay in your comfort zone, to live the same routine day after day. It's safe there, predictable. But nothing grows in a space where nothing changes. If you want to evolve, you have to be willing to step into the unknown, to stretch beyond what you think you're capable of, and to embrace the process, even when it's messy. Every single day is an opportunity. Think about that for a moment. Not just the big moments, graduations, promotions, or major milestones, but every ordinary, seemingly insignificant day is a chance to invest in your better self. The question is, are you making the most of it? Or are you letting those opportunities slip away, lost to distractions, procrastination, or a lack of belief in your potential? It's time to start seeing your days for what they truly are: building blocks for your future. Each one holds the potential to bring you closer to the person you're meant to be. But let's not pretend it's easy. Growth demands effort. It requires you to show up, not just when you feel like it, but every single day. It's about committing to the small, consistent actions that lead to big results over time. Think of it like planting a tree. You don't plant the seed today and expect it to bear fruit tomorrow. You water it, nurture it, and give it sunlight, trusting that one day it will grow into something magnificent. Your growth works the same way. The reading you do, the skills you practice, the goals you set, they may not show immediate results, but over time, they compound into something extraordinary. And let's talk about purpose. Without it, growth becomes aimless, like running on a treadmill without a destination. Purpose gives your actions meaning. It's the why behind what you do, the driving force that keeps you moving forward, even when the road gets tough. Take a moment to reflect. What's your purpose? What are you working toward? When you have a clear vision of the person you want to become, every decision you make starts to align with that vision. Purpose turns ordinary days into stepping stones towards something greater. But here's the catch: discipline is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's not enough to want growth, you have to be willing to work for it. And discipline isn't about motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline stays. It's waking up early to exercise when you'd rather sleep in. It's choosing to study when your friends are out having fun. It's saying no to distractions so you can say yes to your goals. Discipline is what separates those who dream about success from those who achieve it. Let's be honest, there will be days when you feel like giving up. Days when the progress seems slow and the setbacks feel overwhelming. But here's what you need to remember: growth isn't linear. It's not a straight path. There will be ups and downs, victories and failures. The key is to keep going, to keep showing up, even when it feels hard. Because every step you take, no matter how small, is a step forward. And every time you push through the challenges, you're building resilience, strength, and character. One of the greatest misconceptions about growth is that it's all about reaching the finish line. But the truth is, the journey itself is where the real transformation happens. It's in the daily grind, the quiet moments of effort, and the sacrifices you make along the way that you discover who you truly are. Growth isn't about becoming someone else, it's about uncovering the greatness that's already within you and bringing it to the surface. So how do you start? By making a decision. Decide that today will not be wasted. Decide that your time is too valuable to spend on things that don't serve your growth. Start small. Read a chapter of a book. Take a class. Learn a new skill. Set a goal and break it down into manageable steps. And most importantly, commit to the process. Because the only thing standing between you and the life you want is your willingness to grow into the person who can achieve it. You are a work in progress, and that's a beautiful thing. Embrace the process, be patient with yourself, and never stop striving to be better. Because every day you choose growth, you're not just building a better life, you're building a better you. And that, my friend, is the foundation of true greatness. Every person on this planet is surrounded by noise. It's not always the kind you hear with your ears, sometimes it's the kind that seeps into your mind, whispers doubts, and clouds your focus. This noise can come from anywhere: opinions from others, the constant hum of social media, the pressure to conform, or the expectations placed on you by society. It's relentless, isn't it? But here's the truth: if you don't learn to silence the noise, it will drown out the voice that matters most, yours. Let's begin with distractions. In this modern world, they're everywhere. They blink, they buzz, and they pull you away from what truly matters. Whether it's your phone lighting up with notifications or the allure of mindless scrolling, these distractions rob you of your time, your energy, and your focus. Every time you give in, you're allowing something outside of you to dictate how you spend your day. And days add up to weeks, months, and years. How many of those years are you willing to sacrifice to distractions? Time is the one resource you can never get back, and every second you spend on something unimportant is a second stolen from your dreams. But distractions aren't the only kind of noise. Opinions are just as powerful, if not more so. Think about how often you let someone else's words affect you. Maybe they told you your goal was unrealistic, or your idea wasn't good enough. Maybe they laughed at your ambition or questioned your choices. And maybe, just maybe, you started to believe them. But here's the thing: their opinions are not your truth. What someone else thinks about your life says more about them than it does about you. Yet too often, we internalize these opinions, letting them shape our decisions and our self-worth. Why? Because we fear rejection, judgment, or standing out. But greatness doesn't come from fitting in, it comes from having the courage to follow your own path, even when it's unpopular. Your life is not a public debate. It's not up for a vote. It's not something that needs to be approved or validated by others. Your life is yours, your responsibility, your journey, your masterpiece. When you allow others to dictate your choices, you give away your power. You hand over the steering wheel of your life to someone who isn't even driving in the same direction. Stop seeking permission to chase your dreams. Stop waiting for the world to clap for you before you start moving. Silence the noise of their opinions and take back control. Silencing the noise doesn't mean cutting yourself off from the world. It means being selective about what you let in. You have the power to choose who and what influences you. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who challenge you to grow, and who believe in your potential. These voices will fuel your journey, not hinder it. At the same time, learn to identify the voices that drain you, those who criticize without offering solutions, who project their fears onto you, or who belittle your dreams because they've given up on their own. These voices have no place in your life. Now, let's talk about the internal noise, the doubts and fears that creep in when no one else is around. This noise can be the hardest to silence because it comes from within. It tells you you're not good enough, that you're not ready, or that you'll fail. But here's what you need to understand: those doubts are not the truth. They are a reflection of your fears, not your reality. Every time you hear that voice in your head telling you to stop, to give up, or to play it safe, challenge it. Replace it with a voice that believes in you. Speak affirmations over yourself. Remind yourself of your strengths, and focus on the progress you've already made. The voice you feed is the one that will grow stronger, so choose wisely. The path to your goals will never be completely quiet. There will always be noise, external and internal. The key is learning how to navigate it without losing your focus. One way to do this is to create space for stillness in your life. Whether it's through meditation, journaling, or simply spending time in silence, these moments allow you to reconnect with your vision and hear your own thoughts clearly. In stillness, you'll find the clarity to distinguish between what's important and what's just noise. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the choices you make in pursuit of your goals. You don't need to justify your dreams or defend your ambition. Those who truly support you will understand, and those who don't were never meant to be part of your journey. Stand firm in your decisions and let your actions speak louder than their words. The best way to silence the noise is to succeed in spite of it. As you move forward, remind yourself daily that your life is yours to live. Focus on your vision, your purpose, and your progress. The world will always have something to say, but you don't have to listen. Choose to listen to the voice within you, the one that knows your potential, sees your greatness, and believes in your ability to achieve it. When you do, the noise will fade into the background, and all that will remain is the sound of your footsteps, steady and strong, moving closer to your dreams. Success is a journey that demands more than talent, luck, or ambition. It calls for a unique blend of hunger and humility, a relentless drive to achieve, combined with the grounded understanding that no one is above the process. Success doesn't come to those who sit back and wait for it. It doesn't favor the entitled or the complacent. Instead, it seeks out those who are willing to work, sacrifice, and stay true to themselves, no matter how high they climb. Hunger is the fire that fuels your journey. It's the deep, insatiable desire to grow, achieve, and become more than you were yesterday. Hunger is what gets you out of bed before the sun rises. It's what keeps you going when the odds are stacked against you. But hunger isn't just about wanting success, it's about wanting it badly enough to put in the work. It's about showing up every day with passion and purpose, even when no one is watching. Hunger means doing the hard things, the things most people shy away from, because you know they're necessary to get where you want to go. This kind of hunger isn't something you're born with, it's something you cultivate. It starts with a vision, a clear picture of what you want your life to look like. That vision becomes the driving force behind everything you do. It gives you a reason to push through the discomfort, to keep going when others quit. But hunger alone isn't enough. If it's not balanced by humility, it can lead to arrogance, entitlement, and ultimately failure. Is what keeps you grounded. It's the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're capable, but also from understanding that you're never above learning, growing, or improving. Humility reminds you that success is not a solo effort. It's built on the shoulders of those who came before you, supported by the people around you, and shaped by the lessons you learn along the way. Humility is what keeps you open to feedback, willing to adapt, and ready to acknowledge your mistakes. It's the mindset that says, I've come far, but I still have so much more to learn. When you stay hungry, you're always reaching for the next level. But when you stay humble, you never lose sight of the journey that got you there. Success isn't a destination, it's a process. It's a series of moments, achievements, and lessons that shape you over time. If you forget that, if you start to believe you've made it, or that you're better than others because of your accomplishments, you risk losing everything you've worked so hard to build. Success can be fleeting for those who let their ego take the wheel. The world is full of people who start strong but falter along the way. They lose their hunger or let their success inflate their sense of self-importance. But true greatness lies in the ability to keep going, to stay committed, and to never let success change who you are at your core. Staying hungry and staying humble is not just about achieving your goals, it's about sustaining your success and continuing to grow long after you've reached them. Hunger and humility work hand in hand. Hunger drives you to aim higher, while humility keeps you grounded enough to understand that you're never done learning. It's this balance that allows you to navigate the challenges and triumphs of life with grace and resilience. When you're hungry, you don't settle for mediocrity. You demand excellence from yourself and those around you. But when you're humble, you remain approachable, teachable, and connected to the people and experiences that matter most. Success, at its core, is not just about personal achievement. It's about impact. It's about how your hard work, perseverance, and attitude inspire others to strive for their own greatness. When you stay hungry, you set an example of what's possible through dedication and effort. When you stay humble, You remind others that success is a journey, not a pedestal. You show them that it's not about being better than anyone else, it's about being better than you were yesterday. Every step of the way, there will be moments that test your hunger and your humility. There will be days when the fire in your belly feels like a flicker instead of a blaze. On those days, remind yourself of why you started. Revisit your vision, reconnect with your purpose, and reignite that hunger within you. And when success comes knocking, as it inevitably will if you stay the course, remember to celebrate without losing sight of the values that got you there. No one achieves greatness by accident. It takes intentional effort, unshakable focus, and a willingness to put in the work day after day. But it also takes the humility to understand that success is not an entitlement, it's a privilege. It's earned through sacrifice, perseverance, and a commitment to growth. And it's maintained by staying true to yourself no matter how far you climb. So, stay hungry. Keep that fire alive. Let it push you to dream bigger, work harder, and never settle for less than your best. But also, stay humble. Let humility be the foundation on which your success is built. Because the moment you think you've arrived is the moment you stop growing. And growth, after all, is the essence of true success. Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. It shapes your perceptions, directs your actions, and ultimately determines your reality. Yet so many people underestimate its influence or fail to harness its true potential. The truth is, if you want to achieve greatness, you must first master your mindset. Your mind isn't just a passive observer of your circumstances, it's the architect of your life. It can be your greatest ally or your toughest adversary, depending on how you train it. Mastering your mindset begins with belief in yourself and in your potential. Without this foundation, you will falter at the first sign of difficulty. But belief is not something that magically appears, it is cultivated through intention and practice. You must train your mind to see possibilities where others see obstacles. You must convince yourself that you are capable of achieving your goals, even when evidence is scarce. It's not about blind optimism, it's about choosing to focus on what you can do rather than what you can't. Your mindset determines how you interpret the events of your life. When challenges arise, you have a choice to see them as insurmountable barriers or as opportunities for growth. The world doesn't change based on your perception, but your ability to navigate it does. A mind trained to find solutions instead of dwelling on problems is a mind that will always move forward. Train yourself to ask the right questions. What can I learn from this? How can I turn this situation to my advantage? These questions shift your focus from limitations to possibilities. Focus is another critical aspect of mastering your mindset. The world is full of distractions, things vying for your attention and pulling you away from your vision. If you're not intentional about what you focus on, your mind will wander and your goals will slip further from your grasp. Training your mind to focus means learning to say no to what doesn't serve you. It means cutting out the noise, avoiding distractions, and committing fully to the tasks that align with your vision. Focus is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows stronger with consistent practice. But focus isn't just about where you direct your attention, it's also about how you maintain it in the face of negativity. Negativity is like a weed that can take root in your mind if you're not vigilant. It can come from external sources, criticism, doubt, fear, or from within, in the form of self-doubt and limiting beliefs. To master your mindset, you must reject negativity in all its forms. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending everything is perfect. It means refusing to let negativity dictate your actions or your sense of self-worth. Negativity often finds its way into your mind through repetition. The more you hear something, whether it's a disparaging comment from someone else or a self-critical thought in your own mind, the more likely you are to believe it. The antidote to this is to actively replace negative thoughts with positive ones. Affirmations, visualization, and gratitude are powerful tools for this. Speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement. Visualize yourself achieving your goals. Take time each day to acknowledge the things you're grateful for. These practices shift your focus away from what's wrong and towards what's possible. Another key to mastering your mindset is self-awareness. You can't change what you're not aware of. Take the time to understand your thought patterns. Pay attention to the stories you tell yourself and the beliefs you hold about what's possible. Are these beliefs serving you, or are they holding you back? Challenge the thoughts that limit you. Ask yourself, is this true? Or is it just a story I've been telling myself? The more you question your limiting beliefs, the more power you have to rewrite them. Mastering your mindset also requires discipline. Change doesn't happen overnight, and it certainly doesn't happen without effort. You must commit to the process of growth, even when it's uncomfortable. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation fades. It's what allows you to push past fear, doubt, and resistance. Train your mind to associate discipline with empowerment, not restriction. Every small step you take towards building a stronger mindset is a step closer to becoming the person you want to be. Mastering your mindset is not about achieving perfection. It's about progress. There will be days when negativity creeps in, when focus wavers, or when self-doubt whispers in your ear. On those days, remind yourself that mastering your mindset is a lifelong journey. It's not about never falling, it's about always getting back up. Give yourself grace, but also hold yourself accountable. Growth happens in the moments when you choose to persevere, even when it's difficult. Your mind is your greatest asset, but it is also your responsibility. No one else can train it for you. The way you think, the beliefs you hold, and the focus you maintain are entirely within your control. By mastering your mindset, you take ownership of your life. You become the driver of your destiny, not a passenger carried along by circumstance. So train your mind to believe in your potential, to focus on your vision, and to reject negativity. When you do, you'll unlock a power within you that is unstoppable. Transformation is not an instant event, but a continuous journey. We often fall into the trap of believing that success requires perfection, that every step must be flawless and every effort impeccable. This mindset not only sets us up for disappointment, but also blinds us to the power of incremental progress. True growth lies in celebrating the small wins, the steady, consistent actions that compound over time into extraordinary achievements. Progress, not perfection, is the secret to long-lasting success. Life is rarely linear, and neither is personal development. It's easy to become disheartened when progress feels slow or when setbacks occur. But transformation is not about giant leaps. It's about the small, deliberate steps you take every single day. These steps may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time they create a ripple effect that can completely change the trajectory of your life. Small wins build momentum, and momentum is what carries you forward, even when the road gets tough. The pressure to be perfect can be paralyzing. It often leads to procrastination, self-doubt, and ultimately inaction. When you believe that anything less than perfection isn't worth celebrating, you rob yourself of the motivation and joy that come from acknowledging your efforts. Progress, on the other hand, shifts your focus. It reminds you that every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory worth celebrating. It teaches you to value the process as much as the outcome, to recognize that growth is happening even when it feels slow or uneven. Small wins are powerful because they reinforce positive behavior. Every time you accomplish a task, no matter how minor, you send a message to your mind that you're capable. This builds confidence and encourages you to take the next step. For example, if your goal is to improve your health, celebrating something as simple as drinking more water, taking a short walk, or choosing a healthier meal reinforces the habit of prioritizing your well-being. Over time, these small actions accumulate, creating a foundation for bigger, more significant changes. Transformation is often compared to planting a seed. You don't see results immediately, you don't expect a tree to grow overnight. But with consistent care, water, sunlight, and patience, that seed grows roots, sprouts, and eventually blossoms. The same is true for your goals. Each small win is like watering that seed. It may not seem like much at first, but it's essential for long-term growth. Without those consistent efforts, the seed would wither before it has a chance to thrive. It's important to remember that progress isn't always visible. Some of the most significant growth happens beneath the surface, in the unseen moments when you're laying the groundwork for future success. Just because you can't see immediate results doesn't mean your efforts are wasted. Trust in the process and give yourself credit for showing up, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Progress is often about persistence, about continuing to move forward even when the finish line feels far away. Celebrating small wins also cultivates gratitude, which is a powerful motivator. When you take the time to acknowledge what you've accomplished, you shift your focus from what's lacking to what's working. This positive reinforcement fuels your journey and makes the process more enjoyable. Gratitude keeps you grounded and reminds you that every effort, no matter how small, is a step in the right direction. It transforms your mindset from one of scarcity to one of abundance, allowing you to appreciate the progress you've made rather than fixating on how far you still have to go. Perfection, on the other hand, is a myth that often leads to burnout. When you set unrealistic standards for yourself, you create a cycle of frustration and disappointment. Perfectionism stifles creativity, discourages risk-taking, and makes you overly critical of your efforts. It shifts the focus away from growth and toward judgment. Progress, however, is forgiving. It allows room for mistakes, learning, and improvement. It acknowledges that setbacks are a natural part of the journey, and that every misstep is an opportunity to grow stronger. To celebrate progress, start by setting achievable milestones. Break your larger goals into smaller, manageable steps. Each time you accomplish one of these steps, take a moment to acknowledge it. Celebrate in a way that feels meaningful to you. Whether it's writing down your accomplishment, sharing it with someone you trust, or simply taking a moment to reflect on how far you've come. These celebrations don't have to be grand. Their purpose is to remind you that you're moving forward and that your efforts matter. Another way to celebrate progress is to track it. Keep a journal, create a checklist, or use an app to document your achievements. Seeing your progress visually can be incredibly motivating, especially on days when you feel like you're not making any. Tracking your progress also helps you identify patterns and areas for improvement, giving you valuable insights into what's working and what needs adjustment. Progress is deeply personal. It's not about comparing your journey to someone else's or measuring your success against external standards. It's about becoming better than you were yesterday, about consistently showing up and putting in the work. Celebrate your progress in a way that honors your unique path and acknowledges the effort you've invested. Transformation is a marathon, not a sprint. It's built on a series of small, consistent actions that add up over time. By focusing on progress rather than perfection, you free yourself from the pressure to get everything right and instead embrace the joy of growth. Each small win brings you closer to your goals, and each step forward is a testament to your resilience and determination. Celebrate those steps, because they are the foundation of your success. In life, the most important competition is not with others, but with yourself. Society often teaches us to compare our achievements to those around us, creating a constant pressure to measure up to external standards. However, this mindset is both exhausting and counterproductive. True growth and fulfillment come from competing with who you were yesterday, striving to be better, stronger, and wiser with each passing day. This shift in perspective allows you to focus on your own journey, unburdened by the noise of comparison and the weight of others' expectations. When you measure your growth against someone else's journey, you're playing a losing game. Everyone's path is different, shaped by unique experiences, circumstances, and challenges. Comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10 will only lead to frustration and self-doubt. It's like trying to run a race on a track that doesn't align with your starting point or destination. Instead, the real question should be, how far have you come from where you started? Are you a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday? Competing with yourself means setting your own benchmarks for success. It's about identifying your personal goals, dreams, and values, and using them as the yardstick for your progress. This approach is liberating because it removes the need to conform to societal norms or external expectations. You define what success looks like for you, and you work toward it on your own terms. This kind of self-directed competition fosters authenticity, allowing you to focus on what truly matters to you rather than chasing someone else's idea of achievement. One of the most empowering aspects of being your own biggest competitor is that it shifts your mindset from scarcity to abundance. When you compete with others, you're often operating from a place of lack, feeling as though there's only so much success, happiness, or recognition to go around. But when you compete with yourself, you realize that your growth is limitless. There's no cap on how much you can learn, improve, or achieve. Your only constraint is the effort you're willing to invest in becoming the best version of yourself. This mindset also helps you build resilience. Life is full of setbacks, but when you're focused on your own progress, those setbacks become opportunities for growth rather than reasons to give up. Competing with yourself means learning to embrace failure as a natural part of the journey. Each stumble is a chance to learn, to refine your approach, and to come back stronger. This perspective makes you more adaptable and better equipped to handle the challenges that life inevitably throws your way. To compete with yourself effectively, you need to develop self-awareness. This involves taking an honest look at where you are, where you want to go, and what you need to do to bridge the gap. Self-awareness allows you to identify your strengths and weaknesses, to celebrate your achievements, and to acknowledge the areas where you still have room to grow. It's not about being overly critical of yourself, but about recognizing that there's always room for improvement and that the journey towards self-mastery is never ending. Setting clear, measurable goals is another crucial aspect of being your own biggest competitor. These goals should be specific to you, reflecting your unique aspirations and priorities. Break them down into smaller, actionable steps that you can work on daily. Celebrate each milestone you reach, no matter how small, because each one represents a step forward on your journey. This process of setting and achieving personal goals keeps you motivated and focused, giving you a sense of purpose and direction. It's also important to track your progress. Keep a journal, create a vision board, or use an app to document your journey. Regularly review what you've accomplished and identify areas where you can improve. This practice not only keeps you accountable, but also provides tangible evidence of your growth, which can be incredibly motivating on days when you feel stuck or discouraged. Another key to competing with yourself is practicing self-compassion. Growth isn't always a linear process. There will be days when you fall short of your own expectations. When this happens, it's important to be kind to yourself. Acknowledge your effort, learn from your mistakes, and commit to doing better tomorrow. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's progress. By treating yourself with compassion, you create an environment where you feel safe to take risks, to fail, and to keep pushing forward. Being your own biggest competitor also requires a strong focus on personal development. Invest in yourself by reading, learning new skills, and seeking out experiences that challenge and inspire you. Surround yourself with people who uplift and support you, who encourage you to be your best self. Take care of your physical and mental health, because your well-being is the foundation of everything else. The more you invest in yourself, the more you'll have to give to the world around you. That competing with yourself is a lifelong commitment. There's no finish line, no point where you can say, I've arrived. Growth is an ongoing process, and there's always more to learn, more to achieve, and more ways to become a better version of yourself. This journey is what makes life meaningful and fulfilling. By focusing on your own progress and embracing the process, you'll not only achieve your goals, but also discover a deeper sense of purpose and satisfaction. So let go of the need to measure up to others. Stop comparing your journey to anyone else's and start focusing on what truly matters: your growth, your dreams, and your potential. Compete with who you were yesterday, not with the world around you. When you do this, you'll unlock a level of fulfillment and success that no external validation can ever provide. Your greatest competition is staring back at you in the mirror, and every day is an opportunity to rise to the challenge and become a little better than you were before. In the journey of life, the greatest battle we face is not with the world around us, but with ourselves. Growth, progress, and true success come from within, from our daily commitment to becoming better than we were yesterday. When we focus on our own journey, silence distractions, celebrate our progress, and build resilience through self-awareness and discipline, we step into our true power. We learn that the path to greatness is not about perfection, but about persistence. Your growth isn't measured by someone else's achievements, it's measured by your own. Compete with yourself, celebrate your victories, and embrace every stumble as a stepping stone. Success is not a final destination, but an evolving process of becoming the best version of yourself. Stay hungry, stay humble, and above all, stay focused on you every single day. Thank you for your time, your energy, and your commitment to investing in your own greatness. May you continue to rise and thrive.